Hey, what's up, guys?
How we doing? How are we doing today?
Doing good, doing good. My dog had diarrhea, so outside of that, I'm doing fine.
Did it land in a good spot, or was it on a
Oh
carpet
God.
or something?
It was on a good spot. It was in the grass,
Okay.
but
Oh, nice.
it's never pretty.
I'm sure.
No, I really appreciate you sharing that vision with us here on a Monday morning.
It's a perfect segue into our conversation. So, Kong and Nathan are the co-founders of CreatorDAO, which is a community investing in the next generation of creators and ultimately aiming to build the world's largest portfolio of creator IP. Yeah, so wondering if you guys could just give us an overview of what CreatorDAO is, because I think it's more than just kind of a fund, and ultimately why you guys decided to start it.
Yeah, so I think just to give you some context on myself, I have been making viral videos for 13 years plus. I started on YouTube right when they started paying out creators, like around 2010, 2011. And so I've created multiple channels that have over 4 million subscribers. I've helped a bunch of different people go viral on YouTube as well. And yeah, in 2016, I went through Y Combinator, got venture funding for a startup that essentially was teaching people how to create viral YouTube channels and build a business out of that. Had a really good run, and we were selling a course essentially for $1,000. And in hindsight, we made probably about 50 millionaires teaching them how to go viral on YouTube. And thinking back, I'm just like, I wish there was a way to capture the upside, right? And so that's kind of what brings me to CreatorDAO today, and why we started, which is being able to tokenize and bring people on chain allows us to capture that upside in a lot of different ways. And so what we're doing with CreatorDAO now is, we're investing creator IP, but that can take form in a lot of different ways. Creator coins, investing in their YouTube channel for revenue share, and even investing in like movies, which is something that we're talking to right now. And so that is kind of the genesis of how CreatorDAO started and why we want to do what we do.
Got it. Very cool. So what is your investment criteria, I guess? Is there like a creator stage you're focused on? Is it kind of emerging versus established that you prefer to invest at? Or how do you think about that side?
Yeah, right now, I wouldn't say that this is the only rule, but I think the sweet spot for us is like creators who are making money on social media. And we're talking about Web 2 going into Web 3 right now, but creators who are making money, but not like a ton of money that they don't really care. So think about somebody who's like making 30K a year to maybe 70K a year, where it's like it's decent money. They've proven that people like their content and that they can be consistent, but they're not quite millionaires yet. And I think being able to move them to Web3 and on chain gives them like an additional revenue stream, an additional way to make money.
And to add on to that, on the Zora side, we're kind of just scooping up what looks good to us, but we acknowledge that we're not like experts in Zora. So we're actually putting out a job for a lead to help out with Zora investments and someone who's like really native and really into that ecosystem to join us and kind of scope out what investments we should be hopping in on.
Cool. Okay, so I'm curious about, like, at the high level, the idea of these brands being tokenized and tokens unlocking the ability to participate in that upside. I think makes a ton of sense. But I can imagine when you get into some of the specifics, especially when you're dealing with IP that lands in certain jurisdictions, a big way that I think a lot of these creators are monetizing is through creating their own businesses. Obviously, Mr. Beast being a prime example there. It's probably one of the examples that actually proves the opportunity here in some way. So I'm curious, what are the legal structures or structures that you're using to ultimately get exposure to this IP?
So you're talking about like the business entity legal structure?
Yeah, I'm very interested in how, because I think the tokenizing everything seems good, but then you step into the real world, and the real world deals with equity and it deals with licensing agreements, and those things don't easily translate on chain. So I'm curious how you are structuring these investments, or how you're participating in the totality of the upside in these creators.
Got it. So yeah, I think right now we don't have the infrastructure to actually invest in real IP. So let's just say Marvel, for example. There's Rails being built, but it's just not quite there yet. I think right now what we're looking at is more like market sentiment of how this IP will do in the real world. So that's how we're looking at it right now. But I hope that within the next year or two, we're able to actually have systems where we can participate in the actual IP and ownership of the IP as well. I hope that answered your question.
Well, so is the idea right now that you're sort of owning these creator tokens, and that is sort of deep as you would go in the ownership of these creators, or like what do you actually own here?
If we're talking about on-chain, then yeah, it's creator tokens and similar anything similar to that. In the real world, we do also have where we're talking to a creator right now who's doing a really big scripted movie. Fingers crossed that we can get A24 on board, but that we're actually investing in their company that will own the IP for the for that movie and the assets to that movie, if that makes sense. So how we bring that on chain is still TBD, but we're hoping to kind of have both sides of the investment. One in, that's like more creator coins, one that's more traditional IP, and then eventually we can bridge the two together.
Yeah, I guess as you look forward, are you more excited by the opportunity of getting more people on chain and these tokens being the core ownership vehicle, or you guys figuring out how to create a business entity around these creators at the earliest stages and owning pieces of that?
I'm actually, I think for the actual revenue side, I'm more excited and optimistic about the more real world contracts that we're going to have. But for the big bet, 100x upside, obviously I'm more excited about the tokens, because I think with that, you really have to get to a point where you reach terminal velocity, and things like Zora or Retake and Pump Fund, they actually become mainstream platforms where people can, where users can come on and actually consume the content. I think right now there's a lot of it's still kind of like a speculation play where people who are using the platform are going on there to see, okay, whose coin should I buy? How do I make money? And until that actually becomes a platform that a ton of people use without actually trying to make money, we have a bit of a ways to go. But that's kind of like what we're betting on right now. So I think short term, we're more bullish on the real world side. Long term, kind of like big bet, we're more bullish on the creator coins and the on-chain stuff.
So what's the pitch to creators look like right now? What do you come in and what's working?
So I think there's two ways that we think about it, and maybe 2.5. So one is getting Web 2 creators to come to Web 3. So the pitch right now is essentially, hey, we love the content that you make. People love the content you make. Here's a different way to get eyeballs and also generate revenue, right? So we actually, the first creator that we launched is Sad Alex. If you guys want to check her out, it's I'm Sad Alex on Twitter and all the socials, and also on Zora. And so she makes music, and this is essentially a different way for her to monetize her content. Up until this point, she has made, I think, 100K or something in market cap. I might be a little bit off on that, and then like a couple $1,000 in fees already from just the trading fees. And so that's the pitch right now for getting Web 2 to Web 3, more eyeballs, different way to monetize. There's a different kind of category kind of different team that we have working on bringing Web3 assets into Web 2 as well. So as I mentioned before, I've just created a ton of viral videos in the past, and we want to take, let's just say, Pudgy Penguins or name your favorite NFT or art project, and say, we're actually going to help you create YouTube content and go viral on YouTube. That's our bread and butter. And you're going to get exposed to this huge audience that maybe will just watch your content and consume and get to know the art and the characters and the IP that you have, but not necessarily be on chain yet. And so that's the other aspect where we're pitching the Web3 creators to come onto Web 2. And those have to be a lot more established. The sweet spot there is like somebody like Pudgy Penguins that already has a big brand and wants to expand into Web 2.
Got it. And I think beyond funding, you guys mentioned providing operational expertise. So I'm curious what, like Kong, maybe leaning on your 13 years of building viral videos, like where are like the biggest areas that these creators need help with, and what are some of the, I guess, tried and true best practices?
Yeah, it's funny. Like some of the best creators, like the biggest creators in the world, you would not believe the shit show that is going on in
I believe
their
it. I believe
I
it.
believe it too.
yeah, okay. It's like we're talking about like they're making millions, and I mean this is public information, but even Mr. Beast, right? Like he had that whole PR scandal of like they had a handbook telling people that you know it's a boys' club, like let them fuck around. I forgot the exact wording, but you know operationally, a lot of these creators need help in just a variety of areas. So the core kind of the repeat areas that they need help in that I've seen is for the early creators, strategy, thinking about content, coming up with ideas. That's number one. Being able to go through TikTok and say, these are the trends right now. This is what's going viral. Here's how you can incorporate it into your content. That's the easiest way to do it. And we're going to have a team that essentially analyzes trends and says, here's how you can apply it to your channel. So it's not necessarily hard. It just takes time. The next level is hiring. So once they have get significant revenue, all these creators don't know how to hire. So when they hire, it's just kind of like, oh, I have a friend that's going to help me do this. And their friend sucks because they don't know how to train this person. They don't know how to coach this person. They don't even know how to vet people when they interview. Some people don't actually even interview. It's just like they get a reference and they're like, all right, you're hired. So hiring is another big one. And then the third part that we're developing out right now is actually going on chain. Right. So going viral, I just tweeted about this the other day, but going viral on YouTube is like second nature to kind of, our team. But going viral on Web3 is like a whole nother beast. So we're developing out that playbook right now, and we're going to help Web2 creators come on chain and actually engage with the community, make sure they're known within the community. How do you get your market cap up? All that kind of stuff.
So I'm curious, the organization is called CreatorDAO. And yet I think DAOs have fallen very much out of favor, especially in this world that we're in today, where we're talking about tokens on or stocks on chain and Stripe coming into the space, and I think the fairly noticeable failures of many DAOs in the past. So I'm curious, does DAO accurately sort of reflect what you guys are building here now, or is this just a bit of like a holdover from a previous era?
Yeah, Nathan, you take it.
I mean, yes and no. So yeah, it's no secret that there's been a lot of failures in the DAO space. And I think part of that is just operational speed, right? And capacity, where you have such a large organization where there's just way too many cooks in the kitchen and nothing actually happens. And, there's this idea like, oh, everybody collectively will make a good decision. It's like, yeah, well, when it's like a technical upgrade or these random things, like, do the lay people actually know what they're voting on? So we are a DAO, but I think we're coming at it from a different perspective, where from the side of content, DAO is actually very powerful, right? When you think about collective decision-making, when you think about the wisdom of the crowd, content is purely driven by that, right? It's driven by views, it's driven by clicks. And so this idea of a DAO in regard to content makes so much sense, right? Because if you have content, you're like, hey, I don't really know if this is going to make it or if this is going to be huge or not. Like Kong and I can't really decide that on our own. So the idea is, you outsource that to the DAO, right? You get this massive opinion from all these bunch of people. Now you have a much clearer take on what content is actually going to go far, right? But then to come around with the shortcomings of DAOs, the structure of ours actually has sub DAOs enabled. So we've already taken out funds and allocated it to kind of sub operational working groups. And so you can just move a lot faster. And so we're not really bottlenecked in the same way that previous DAOs were.
So if I wanted to come join CreatorDAO, is that because I have just such great taste and curatorial abilities? Is there a path for me to come do that, or is this sort of more of a future state thing?
Yeah, CreatorDAO.com, and then you can click enter app, and you only need one token, and you can jump on. And it's also catered towards creators as well. So we have courses by Kong that just are incredible superpowers for creators to hop on board. So that's also a huge benefit for DAO members.
What do you guys see as being maybe the biggest trend in the creator economy right now that is either kind of emerging and undiscovered yet, or people are just flat out missing?
You're talking about the Web2 side?
Just the whole thing.
So for the Web 2 side, the big trend right now, at least with the bigger creators, is they want to get into startups. So you see Beast doing Feastables, Ryan Trahan doing Joyride, which is like the best-selling candy in Target right now, I
love
believe.
Joyride.
Yeah, it's delicious. And then so a lot of creators are now they're always looking for ways to monetize, right? So they're thinking, all right, what is the next evolution in my story here? And I think what you're going to see moving forward is a lot of like DTC brands, other consumer brands that are launched by creators. And in the future, instead of the Heinz of the world or like the Hershey's of the world, you're going to have a creator being the face of it. It's like the Mr. Beast and Feastables of the world, or the Ryan Trahan and the Joyride of the world. And
is that still emerging? I mean, this feels like a thing that's been going on for a bunch of years. Am I just stupidly early, or are you still seeing this as just like being very early in the adoption of that strategy?
It's extremely early. And one of the reasons is that when these creators try to get funding, especially if you're not like in the top 0.001%, a lot of investors still don't understand the power of being able to promote to your audience. And so, they think of this as like this is like a consumer company. You're never going to beat Hershey's. You're never going to beat Gatorade. But yeah, there's still kind of a disconnect there. So I think it's still really, really early. And probably in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of more VC money flowing into creator companies. There's a company right now called I want to say Atomic. Geez, I forgot, but they have $100 million fund just for creator businesses, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that in the coming years.
All right. Well, so I mean, Kong, you've been obviously building the space for what you said, 13 years. It's a long time, baby.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, how has the creator economy evolved? And I'm specifically interested maybe over the last few years here, because it feels like every 6 months, there's not only a new meta that you need to sort of be participating in. I think we are participating in one that's very new to us, the sort of live stream, clips focused type of thing. But I'm curious if, from your seat, being there for so long, are you seeing that fast paced iteration still persist today, or has that slowed down, sped up?
Yeah, and you guys are doing a great job, by the way. You're all over my Twitter feed, and I watch so many of your videos. So really great job on growing the show.
We'll get this one seen by a gazillion people too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so. So the trend right now with content, I think, is moving. It's almost kind of like a bifurcation of content. You're seeing obviously a ton of short form pop up, where it's TikTok, 30-second videos, maybe to 2-minute long videos, and people are doom scrolling and swiping up and finding the next dopamine hit. But on the other side of things that people kind of overlook is that you're actually seeing a lot of creators make longer content as well, narrative content, especially on YouTube, because YouTube's algorithm really favors longer content. And so on YouTube, since they have a TV app as well, longer content does really, really well. And a lot of creators are actually now making 30-minute long, 45-minute long. These guys I work really close with named Sam and Colby are making like 90-minute long videos where they're exploring haunted places. And so I think that's kind of the trend you're seeing now, and then podcasts are like a huge thing on YouTube now too, where that's like 2 hours long, right? Joe Rogan does like 3 hours long. So you're seeing this kind of like bifurcation of content where there's a ton of short form being made, and then a big push to doing longer form content as well.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. The algorithms are just driving us here. All right. Well, I mean, I can imagine that you guys have a bit of a hit list out there where you sort of sit down and you dream a little bit and you think, if we could get to so and so, this would be a big shift in our business or a clear demonstration of the world that we see. So I'm curious, is there one creator or one type of creator that you would just really love to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Not necessarily. Like, I'm probably 1 degree away from all the biggest creators on YouTube, so that's not necessarily a problem. I think the big wish list for us really is, I really, really hope that platforms like Zora, like Retake, like Pump Fun actually become great content platforms. Like that, if they actually get to a point where normies are opening up Zora and using it like Instagram or TikTok, like we are going to be on a rocket ship. It's going to take a while to get there, and they're going to have to make a lot of iterations on the product, and they're moving pretty fast. But that's my big wish. If we get there, it's just going to be a huge unlock, not only for Web3 natives who are investing in creator coins, but also the creators themselves, because now they can get eyeballs, they can get more revenue, and they can bring their audience on as well and say, this is just another platform you can consume my content on and not have to promote this coin and be seen as like a grifter or whatever.
Indeed. Kong, Nathan, thanks for hanging out with us today, and yeah, we'll be following closely.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Peace, guys.